Good evening, everyone. I'm Trevor Alt in for Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We begin tonight with the brutal cold, the heavy snow, and major flooding as millions head home for the holidays. Bone-chilling temperatures are blasting the Northeast. In some areas, it feels like single digits, and it's going to dip even lower overnight. Right now, lake-effect snow is hammering parts of western New York. It's piling up there, creating treacherous conditions from backyards to back roads. And out west, we're seeing dramatic pictures of heavy flooding in the Bay Area, thanks to a string of storms and some of the highest tides of the year. Other areas in California are also under threat of heavy rain and even mudslides. Our weather team is standing by with the forecast, but first, Morgan Norwood leads us off.
Tonight, single-digit wind chills fueling a lake-effect snow machine that shows no signs of letting up. Outside Syracuse, vehicles stranded in an absolute whiteout in Fulton, New York. Overnight, towns south of Buffalo absolutely engulfed. That yardstick reading 27 inches of fresh powder. Multiple vehicles stranded on Interstate 196 near Grand Rapids, others struggling to stay on the road. In the west, extremely high tides from San Francisco Bay, inundating neighborhoods north of the city. This after a month's worth of rain fell on the first day of the year in San Diego. In San Bernardino County, first responders plucking this toddler and guiding several others to safety from washed out vehicles.
Grab it! I can't! You can't?
And back on the frigid East Coast. New body camera video showing officers on Long Island springing into action to save a boy who fell through the ice on Christmas Day. Sliding across the ice to save him, 8-year-old Tavion telling everyone today he learned his lesson.
Do not walk on the ice.
And Trevor, across the Northeast, it will feel like the teens in single digits heading into the weekend from New York to Philly, all the way up to Boston. Trevor?
Morgan Norwood tonight. Morgan, thanks so much. So now let's get to meteorologist Brittany Bell from our New York station WABC, tracking the very latest for us. Hey, Brittany.
Hey, Trevor. And yes, we know it gets cold this time of the year, but I really want to put things in perspective. A lot of these temperatures and wind chills are running well below normal for this time of the year across the Northeast and also the Great Lakes. I want to show you those Saturday morning wake-up wind chills. It could feel like 6 degrees in Boston, also 10 to 20 degrees below zero in portions of Maine, and that lake-effect snow machine continues. There is some relief coming later next week. The latest outlook is showing above normal temperatures across portions east of the Rockies and likely a tad bit below normal for portions of California out west. They are getting more rainfall on an already very saturated ground, and they could see a winter storm warning, also winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour, even a flood watch for heavier rainfall totals approaching 2 to 4 inches. When it comes to that mountain snow, portions of the Sierra Nevadas could see 2 to 4 feet and potentially 1 to 2 feet across sections of the Rockies. Trevor?
Brittany Bell for us. Brittany, thank you. And overseas tonight, flags are being flown at half-staff in Switzerland after a deadly bar fire during New Year's celebrations, which killed dozens of people and injured 100 more. Investigators are now looking into whether sparklers caused this horrific accident. And foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burge has the latest from Switzerland.
Tonight, new video capturing the harrowing moment flames start engulfing the ceiling inside a bar in the Swiss Alps early New Year's morning. The video shot by a boy who was severely injured in the fire shows a celebration quickly turning into horror. Look closely and you can see multiple celebratory sparklers and the orange glow above them, where part of the ceiling appears to have just caught on fire. Swiss officials say they now believe the deadly inferno that killed at least 40 people and injured nearly 120 more was likely caused by those sparklers. The investigation is ongoing, with authorities poring over video from that night. At one point, a man tries to extinguish the flames with what appears to be a piece of clothing. People desperately racing to get away from the scene as fire consumes the bar. Letitia's 16-year-old son, named Arthur, was at the bar to celebrate the new year and is now missing. All I want is to find my child, she says. And Gregory telling us his best friend, Thailand, is also missing.
Maybe he's dying in the fire, maybe he's alive.
And there were so many people.
Victoria, a survivor, telling me in the crush, many people couldn't escape the underground bar.
It was like a horror movie. People on fire were breaking windows and falling out of windows.
Late today, the owner of the bar telling Swiss media everything was done according to the standards. Authorities are now painstakingly working to identify the dead and the injured. They say many of those injured are fighting for their lives. And tonight, the memorial growing in this ski resort town.
Trevor, the local prosecutor says the two owners of the bar have been cooperating with the investigation, which will now examine the fire safety conditions at the venue on that fateful night. Trevor.
Horrific story. Tom Sufi Burridge, thank you. Well, the FBI says it foiled a potential ISIS-style terror plot which was planned for New Year's Eve. Agents say the suspect is a teenager that they've kept tabs on for years. Here's Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky.
The FBI says these are the chilling, handwritten plans of an 18-year-old who wanted to carry out an ISIS-inspired New Year's Eve attack in Charlotte with a goal of stabbing 20 to 21 victims.
He was preparing for jihad, and innocent people were going to die. And we're very, very fortunate they did not.
Federal prosecutors said the teen, Christian Sturdivant, plotted to target a grocery store or a Burger King with these hammers and knives that the FBI said were found Monday under his bed. Investigators said they found this page, the New Year's Attack 2026, in a garbage can, and a second handwritten page entitled Manifesto of Jihad in the kitchen trash.
This investigation highlights the very real threat posed by people who self-radicalize online.
Sturdivant has been under investigation since he was 14, when the FBI said he was in social media contact with an ISIS member who directed him to dress all in black, knock on people's doors, and attack them with a hammer. Last month, investigators said Sturdivant reached out to someone he thought was an Islamic State operative who's actually an undercover counterterrorism officer with the NYPD, showing this image of weapons and pledging, "I will do jihad soon."
And Aaron Katersky joins us now. Aaron, we heard in your report there that officials say this teenager was messaging on social media with ISIS members, something that they've warned about in the past. What charges is this teen now facing?
He's now facing a charge, Trevor, of attempting to provide material support to a terror group, to the Islamic State, and it could put him in prison for 20 years if he's convicted. Tonight, Trevor, the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, says this sting operation saved lives, and the FBI says the teen turned his back on his country and fellow citizens. Trevor?
Aaron Katersky, thank you. Also today, a powerful earthquake rocked southern and central Mexico. It registered as a magnitude 6.5 quake, and this tremor even abruptly interrupted a press event for Mexico's president. It sent staffers and reporters running for cover.
Tonight, dramatic video showing buildings swaying after a powerful earthquake rocked southern Mexico, injuring at least a dozen people. The 6.5 magnitude quake striking the state of Guerrero this morning, just north of the popular resort city of Acapulco, tourists fleeing to the streets. The shaking felt nearly 200 miles north in Mexico City. Chunks of debris seen falling off the side of this building, raining down onto the street below. Joshua Appleby was visiting with his family from Texas. They all evacuated.
We made it out of the building after the earthquake.
A ver, con tranquilidad. ¿Dónde está?
The tremors disrupting President Claudia Sheinbaum's first news conference of the new year. Authorities say no deaths or major damage has been reported.
And there's now a threat for ongoing aftershocks. There have already been several of them reported in the region. Next tonight, President Trump issuing a stern new warning to Iran, saying the U.S. is, quote, locked and loaded, vowing to step in if Iran kills peaceful protesters. And this comes as there's been widespread anti-government demonstrations in Iranian cities. Here's Maggie Rulli.
Tonight, an ominous warning from President Trump to Iran, saying the U.S. is locked and loaded and ready to go if the Iranian regime uses lethal force against protesters. Trump posting, if Iran violently kills peaceful protesters, the United States will come to their rescue, but providing no additional details. Trump's message coming just hours after reports that at least 6 people were killed in Iran as nearly a week of protests sparked by the economic crisis and currency collapse escalate. This moving image, one lone protester sitting before armed security forces, as seen circulating online. Trump has shown a willingness to confront Iran directly, the U.S. striking its nuclear facilities in June. Just days ago, Trump meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago, promising the U.S. will back Israeli strikes on Iran if Tehran continues with its nuclear weapon program. In response to President Trump's latest threat, Iran's Supreme National Security Council posted to X, intervention by the U.S. in the domestic problem corresponds to chaos in the entire region and the destruction of U.S. interests. But Trevor, these protests appear to be growing in scope beyond just the economy, with university students heard shouting, "Death to the dictator." Trevor?
Okay, Maggie Ruley for us. Maggie, thank you. And all the while, President Trump is pushing back against growing scrutiny over his health. The president gave a candid, in-depth interview with the Wall Street Journal where he offered new details about recent medical tests and the visible bruises on his hand. He defended his overall health. And here's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump pushing back against growing scrutiny about his health, insisting in a post that the White House doctors have just reported that I am in perfect health. It comes after an interview with the Wall Street Journal where the president revealed new details about screening he received during an October visit to Walter Reed National Medical Center. For months, the president said he had gotten an MRI.
I got an MRI, it was perfect.
Now, Trump and the White House physicians say it was a CT scan to definitively rule out any cardiovascular issues and was perfectly normal. Trump now says he regrets taking the test because of all the attention it's received. The 79-year-old president, the oldest man to assume the office, has faced increased scrutiny about his health. Images of bruising on his hands raising concern. The White House saying it's because of constant handshaking. But Trump telling the Wall Street Journal he bruises easily from taking too much aspirin, ignoring his doctor's recommendation to take a lower dose. His doctor says Trump takes 325 milligrams a day, a dose he's taken for 25 years. I'm a little superstitious, Trump told the Journal. They say aspirin is good for thinning out the blood. I don't want thick blood pouring through my heart. I want nice thin blood pouring through my heart. In July, the president was diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency, a common condition in older adults that often leads to swelling in the legs. Trump told the Journal he tried compression socks, but didn't like them.
Okay, plenty to process there. Selena Wang joins us from Palm Beach County, Florida. Selena, we know the president has always been very big on energy, and he is also insisting he still has plenty of it.
That's right, Trevor. The president is also defending his energy levels and his stamina, denying that he's fallen asleep during White House events, saying the camera simply caught him blinking or resting his eyes. Trevor?
Okay, Selena, thank you. Well, next, an Alabama father is under arrest after police say they found explosives during the search for his missing 4-year-old son. And tonight, investigators say they have found the remains of his child. That child's name is Jonathan Boley. He had not been seen since New Year's Eve. And deputies in Birmingham say they found the boy's body with his dog, which was still alive. Before the discovery, police had said that Jonathan's father was cooperating with the investigation. Meantime, Ohio police are searching for a suspect after a husband and wife were found shot to death inside their home. Investigators say 2 small children were also found there in the house unharmed. Police say they don't believe this was a murder-suicide. Ika Jachi has the latest.
Tonight, police in Columbus, Ohio, are asking the community for any camera footage that might have captured the gunman who killed a popular dentist and his wife inside their home.
We cannot get a hold of him or his family.
We're now hearing more of the desperate 911 call from worried friends who went to check on Dr. Spencer Tepe when he didn't show up for work.
I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in.
Their 2 young children could be heard crying inside. Later, that friend was able to see Spencer's body.
There's a body. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood.
Once on scene, police say Spencer had suffered multiple gunshot wounds, and his wife Monique was shot in the chest. The couple were just a month away from their 5th wedding anniversary. Their family tonight saying, "We are heartbroken beyond words. Our family is committed to seeing this tragedy fully and fairly brought to justice and to honoring Spencer and Monique by protecting the future of their children they loved so deeply." Trevor, authorities say there is a police camera nearby close to their home, but haven't confirmed whether it caught images of the killer who pulled the trigger with 2 small children just steps away. Trevor?
Ike Ajachi for us. Ike, thank you so much. Well, a woman is dead after a suspected mountain lion attack in northern Colorado. Officials there say 2 hikers found this woman's body and the mountain lion while they were hiking on a remote trail. They told them they scared the lion away, but they couldn't find this woman's pulse. And wildlife officers later shot and killed 2 mountain lions in the area. They're still looking for more. If this is confirmed to be a mountain lion death, officials say it would be the first deadly mountain lion attack in the state in more than 25 years. And also a frightening scene in college football. A parachutist fell in front of the crowd at the Armed Forces Bowl. Take a look at this video. You'll see that parachutist coming in for a landing at the stadium in Fort Worth, but the parachute appears to snag, and then a very big drop there. Very frightening. Now, fortunately, bowl officials told our local affiliate that the parachutist was able to walk away from this incident. Well, as we head into what could be called the final weekend of the holidays, we want to look at some of the acts of kindness from across the country. ABC's Mary Bruce has the story.
In Newark, New Jersey, just days ago, part of the Associated Humane Society's animal shelter collapsed after a snowstorm. Dozens of dogs needed foster homes, and fast. The community pouncing into action, finding all the dogs' foster homes. Tonight, the shelter sending us this photo of Peanut, happy and safe in his new home, just in time for the new year. In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a sweet start to the year. The Baldwin-Whitehall School District hosting their annual holiday cookie extravaganza. These high school students baking thousands of cookies for grandparents and seniors from across their community. In Santa Barbara, California, a mysterious gift. Nearly a decade ago, a Christmas blanket was accidentally delivered to the Santa Barbara District Attorney's Office. For years, the office would include it in their office gift exchange. This year, they finally tracked down who the blanket belonged to. It turns out Dad, Casey Kluver, has been struggling all year with a cancer diagnosis. After making the discovery, the office workers making a large donation towards the Kluver family's GoFundMe page and returning the blanket. The Kluvers overwhelmed, sending back a photo of them, all now holding that blanket. And in Twin Falls, Idaho, and Norwich, New York, their local holiday parades. It's a tradition they look forward to and rely on. For years now in both communities, a local business helping put them on while donating food. Chobani makes yogurt in these communities, employing thousands of workers and supporting local dairy farmers. This year alone, Chobani donating more than 2.5 million pounds of food to combat food insecurity in towns across central New York and Idaho's Magic Valley.
We love the community we live in, and we love to take care of them. So this is just one of the small things that we do for them to show how much we truly show up for our community.
Our thanks to Mary Bruce. And coming up here, Linsey Davis will bring us some impactful stories as we start the new year. In popular culture, he is called the patron saint of the internet. Carlo Acutis was the first saint to grow up wearing sneakers and jeans, and now many in the Catholic faith believe he might be a draw for newer, younger parishioners. Plus, as we enter the new year, we often think about our health, but what happens when somebody we love falls ill or we fall ill? We're going to tell you why having a living will is crucial, no matter your age.
Born in 1991, Carlo Acutis is the first millennial saint, one of 10,000 saints officially recognized by the church. He grew up playing video games, and as a devout Catholic, he used his computer to document Eucharistic miracles. Now his mother and the church are honoring his legacy. Inez de la Cotara has a story.
Many mothers think of their sons as saints, but Antonia Salzano, in particular, has good reason to.
Did you always know there was something special about Carlo?
But since he was small, we were quite aware about his sainthood because he was so generous, obedient, and was so nice, so pious.
These are the images of saints we're used to seeing. But this is Carlo Acutis, the first millennial saint and the first saint depicted wearing jeans and sneakers.
Carlo was a normal child, but who lived an ordinary life, but both the extraordinary in his life, because he was a very mystic person.
More than 70,000 people packed St. Peter's Square as Pope Leo presided over his canonization. together with that of Pier Giorgio Frassati, who died in 1925, an enormous picture of Carlo hanging over the square. The Pope describing Carlo as a teenager from our own day, both in love with Jesus and ready to give everything for him. Born in 1991, Carlo was a devout Catholic who taught catechism and went to Mass daily. He grew up playing video games and used his computer skills to create a website documenting what are known as Eucharistic miracles, paranormal phenomena in which believers say Christ's presence manifests itself in the bread and wine used during communion. For example, one case from Mexico in 2006 alleges a red stain appeared on a host or sacramental bread used during communion. Scientists are said to have concluded it was human blood and live heart tissue.
Carlo used in the light side internet. He understood that with the internet is a resource, can be very good means. There are many signs that God sends us, and very often there is an ignorance over these things. And so Carlo wanted to be an apostle of this, to try to help people.
In 2006, Carlo was diagnosed with leukemia. His condition quickly deteriorating within a year, and he died at just 15 years old.
Sono destinata a morire.
A home video shows Carlo saying, prophetically, "It is my destiny to die." But Antonia says his short life and legacy live on after his death, and so began the rigorous saint-making process. From the Church's point of view, a candidate must have led a life of heroic virtue and produced at least 2 miracles, events that are scientifically inexplicable. The Vatican even has a department devoted to investigating the alleged miracles, the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints. Carlo's alleged miracles occurred posthumously. In 2013 in Brazil, according to the Vatican, a young boy with a defective pancreas prayed to Carlo for his intercession. The boy's pancreas later fully healed. This first supposed miracle led the Vatican to declare Carlo was blessed. Then, a young Costa Rican woman in 2022 fell into a coma after a bike accident. As the story goes, her mother went to pray before Carlo's tomb, and the girl woke up later that day, eventually making a full recovery. With this second alleged miracle, Carlo was officially recognized as a saint.
Cum beato Carlo acutis.
His mother says she's heard of many more miracles attributed to Carlo.
What's it like for you as a mother to have a son like this?
Definitely, I don't have any merit because I am a sinner like everybody. But I am happy to see how through Carlo so many people is helped.
As word spread, Carlo's following grew. There are over 10,000 saints officially recognized by the Catholic Church, ranging from St. Francis to Mother Teresa. Saints have traditionally been held up as examples for believers, Carlo on Sunday becoming a fresh young face for a church still reeling from decades of sexual abuse allegations.
The scandals in the church have broken the trust of a lot of young people in that church. And the fact that this young man here is being canonized is a sign of hope.
Why do you think he's someone that so many resonate with? Why did people want to be here for his canonization?
Carlo gives us hope. Carlo gives us hope that holiness is possible. We've entered a new era called the cyber era. We're on the era of internet. We're spending more time than ever on our phones, on our computers, and it questions us because we look at all those saints in our churches and we see saints of the Middle Ages, we see saints of the past, and what about the saints of today?
As part of the sainthood process, Carlo's body was exhumed from its grave in 2019, a way for the church to verify his remains and prepare them for veneration. He was then laid here, at this shrine in Assisi, where he appears to be sleeping, a silicone mask in his likeness covering his face. Officials predict close to 2 million people this year will visit the shrine. Some praying before Carlo's body parts, like his heart, kept inside this golden reliquary.
There's a kind of Carlo mania that's taken a hold of the city of Assisi. So you can see they've got Carlo t-shirts. Over here there are Carlo keychains, Carlo rosaries, Carlo pens, and it's pretty much like this at every souvenir shop.
Just steps from Carlo's shrine is Carla's store. She says she got to know Carlo as a child and gets emotional, recalling how she turned to him during a difficult time.
È un'emozione straordinaria. Ci ha dato veramente la gioia di vivere, la gioia di tornare a fare questo lavoro di cui ero veramente stanca. E invece ogni giorno mi dà la possibilità di incontrare tante persone da tutto il mondo che amano perdutamente Carlo.
She says Carlo gave her hope, and perhaps that's what resonates with so many Catholics.
It's a great example of how young people, teenagers, can get to be saints. It's not something that is of other times, of something that is only for old people. It's like, I can be a saint.
Even if he lived a short period of his life, he maximized his life. It's God who is doing through Carlo these miracles. For me, Carlo was my savior.
Our thanks to Inez for that. Up next, how do you wish to be cared for when seriously ill? It's a question most people don't discuss with their loved ones, but really should. Why a living will is so important at any age. Many of us have spent time with our families over the past few weeks, but there's a topic we're often hesitant to bring up, and that is our living wills. How do we wish to be cared for when seriously ill, and who should make decisions for us when we cannot do so for ourselves? Earlier, I had the chance to sit down with ABC News legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer and ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton, who can guide us through these sometimes difficult conversations. Brian, Dr. Sutton, thanks so much for joining us. So let's just start out, Dr. Sutton, with what is a living will?
Yeah, well, a living will is quite simple. It's a document, a written document that helps to spell out what your medical preferences would be in the event that you can't communicate for yourself. Linsey, this helps to guide families in the event that they're in a crisis with what that patient would want, and it helps to avoid the turmoil and the frustration that I've seen as an emergency physician when having to make these difficult decisions in a moment of crisis.
What is the age that we really should be considering, hey, I need to go out there and get a living will?
I would say once you get to a point where you're able to make your own decisions, so you could probably put around 18 or 19
Oh, really?
in terms of what you should do. Yeah, it's often considered as like, I only do this when I'm really old and I'm like maybe sick or I lost someone, but no, this is something you should consider in terms of, you know what, I could pass away, something could happen. So something to contemplate, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones as well.
So we're going to be sitting around the holiday tables with our families in the next few weeks. How do you bring this up even? You know, so by the way, how's that living will going, Dad, Mom?
It can certainly feel awkward, and there's a lot of misconceptions that this is something that you only do at the end of life. But I can tell you from my personal experience as a physician in the emergency room that these conversations often happen suddenly. And so you want to make sure to pick a quiet place, a time that's not a crisis. And you want to bring it up, and you can frame it as something we all should do.
And so explain for us what a health proxy is.
So different jurisdictions will call these different things, but we'll use these terms to just help us out here. A living will is only one part of it, right? You need to have a proxy or a healthcare agent who will be, in essence, your mouthpiece for you, right? So when you're not capable of speaking, you're in a coma, incapacitated, whatever it is, this is a person that you've put in charge of executing your will, your desire, your values as to what you want. It could be in terms of what type of palliative care do you want? What type of life-sustaining care do you want? Who's going to get the medical information to be able to make these decisions and communicate directly with the doctor, then relay that information to the family? It's also good to have alternative proxies as well, because what happens if, for example, I'm not available to make the call as to what needs to happen? My brother or uncle can be an alternative proxy, but having a primary is important.
Have you seen some really unfortunate scenarios play out when no one is there to make the decision and they don't know what the desires would be of the patient?
Unfortunately, that's the more common experience because these are not conversations that people are having often, which is why I'm so happy that we're having this conversation now. You know, in those events, when we don't know the direction to go, we often see siblings arguing. There's often disagreements between parents and children. That is expected because, again, everyone's trying their best to understand what that person would want, but when that person can't communicate, then it often leaves confusion. And when that happens, the provider, the clinician, our job is to continue the most aggressive, life-prolonging care. And Linsey, that can lead to days and weeks of discomfort that person might not have ever wanted to be in.
We mentioned that you should start getting this or thinking about it when you're 18. So does that mean it should be updated throughout your life?
Absolutely. So as you have new people added into your life, you might move to a different state. You want to make sure that you're updating and evaluating what you want. You may lose a loved one and you say, I saw what happened there. I want to make sure that what's going on with me is going to be different. always update as your wills and your values change and the time goes on.
So I know this isn't the kind of law you practice in particular, but it sounds like you've had that hands-on experience with Mom. How did the conversations go with your family?
I think for most people, they have this difficulty of, for my parents, they're like, well, I gave birth to you. I changed your diapers. Like, it's my job to take care of you. But now I'm the attorney in the family. I'm the oldest in the family. I help with some of the bills. And now I have this legal expertise to say, Mom, no. We're talking about a situation that we've never been in before. Mm-hmm. This is a situation where I must take care of you. What is it that you want me to do?
How about for you, Dr. Sutton?
It's a little different because my mother's a retired nurse. So she's been in the position that I've been in professionally, and she's seen those difficulties with families. And so she's very adamant about making sure that we understand what she would want in those moments. And Linsey, that's often what I'm asking and trying to guide families. I'm trying to remind them this is about what the patient wants.
And so what should we make sure, what's critical to make sure is included in that living will?
One of the mistakes that people make is making it vague. And often you say, I don't want extreme measures. Now that can mean a variety of different things. So you want to make sure to first off, start broad, start with the quality of care that you would like. Would you like to go in the direction of comfort, where you want to make sure that the person is comfortable, or you want to go in the direction of aggressive, life-prolonging care? And then on those forms, those documents that you can obtain from a local hospital or a healthcare system near you, you'll often see specific interventions. For example, CPR or cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which involves pressing on the chest. You'll often see ventilation. Do you want to be hooked up to a machine to help you breathe? In the event that you can't eat, would you like a feeding tube?
And I imagine it does extend to, do you want to be cremated? How do you want to donate your organs, for example?
Yes, absolutely.
Are there variations from state to state?
Yeah, so there are variations both in terms of how they become valid documents. For example, in the state of New York, you need 2 witnesses, but you don't necessarily need a notary. Other states would require that. There's also different terminologies and how they're interpreted from state to state. And so to kind of piggyback off of what the doctor is saying as well, I'd recommend looking at some of these terminologies that we seem to feel so comfortable with, understanding what they mean in your state, and then seeing if they align with your values as well. What is life-sustaining care for you, and what do you believe it to be?
A lot of people are going to think, boy, is this going to be a big expense? Am I going to have to get a lawyer? What's the easiest, most practical way to go about getting a living will?
So I think start from here. Have the conversation. Understand what that person's values are. And then from there, as the doctor said, there are different states that have different resources, whether it be at the AG's office, where they have entire pamphlets and sometimes even have templates that you can follow. You can go to your local hospital as well. If it does get to a point, especially where there's a large family and maybe a lot of siblings who might have different values or ideas, maybe then you're going to look into getting an attorney. But a lot of these can be done with just the 2 individuals themselves or the family small unit.
Dr. Darian Sutton, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you both so much. What a worthwhile and necessary conversation. And next, we follow one New Yorker's mission to take grammar to the streets. Taking a table with her, she poses questions to strangers to strengthen America's grammar knowledge, one question at a time. And love is in the air. ABC News' Maggie Rulli visits the small town in Ireland that hosts the largest matchmaking festival. Trying to get Flavio, our audio tech, to head over there. Just how well do you know your grammar? Do you know when to use then versus than, or which there to use in a sentence? One woman has traveled the country to help people find those answers. Meet the woman who's on a mission with just a table, her husband, and her extensive knowledge of grammar.
Stationed on the Upper West Side, right in the middle of bustling streets and nonstop crowds, Ellen Joven sets up a table.
Okay, I think I'm pretty organized now.
Inviting New Yorkers to ask her questions.
Do you want a non-mandatory grammar quiz? I have faith you're gonna ace that.
When I'm setting up the grammar table, I do actually feel a little self-conscious sometimes because it's a little awkward. It's a little bit of a feeling like I'm an 8th grade nerd again.
I would guess that that is an adjective.
Are you sure about that, and do you want to think about that one more minute? Because I did set up a trap there.
Teaching writing classes for years, I know that people are interested in the little details because they ask about them all the time.
In 1973, the infamous Schoolhouse Rock sparked a national conversation about grammar. Who could forget their segment, Conjunction Junction?
Conjunction Junction, what's their function?
Teaching viewers the importance of combining words, phrases, and clauses with the words and, but, or.
Conjunction Junction is the clear winner of all of them. That was the best song by far.
Hooking up cars and making them function.
Welcome back to English with Lucy. Today, we're going to talk about grammar.
You're going to learn how to pronounce contractions.
But now, a gap in the grammar game has many flocking to YouTube or using Grammarly to fix their lengthy emails, the free AI assistance writing tool used by 40 million people. The U.S. currently ranks 36th in the world in literacy. On average, 79% of American adults are literate, but 54% of adults have a literacy level below the 6th grade. Ellen's table, filling that empty space, transforming it into a grammar-safe haven.
Well, back in 2018, I was getting tired of having all my grammar nerd activities on the internet, so I decided to move my grammar action to the street. And this is a good place to be because it is right outside the 72nd Street Express subway station, and thousands of people would go by, and a bunch of them would stop and talk to me.
I already knew that a lot of people were grammar nerds, but my assumptions are still constantly tested.
I am a big fan of grammar.
Grammar is one of my passions, and I'm just interested that somebody would be sitting there talking about grammar.
Oxford, comma or die. The English language is going to it's going to hell.
You sound fine.
And filming it all, her husband, Brant Johnson.
For me, it has affirmed so much of what I already knew about Ellen and what our relationship is.
Do you want a grammar postcard?
What would I do with it? Send it to a kid.
Her curiosity, her genuine interest in reaching people drew me to her 31 years ago.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm ready. We're doing it.
Yo, tell me, does the apostrophe go before or after the A?
It don't go at all. What are you talking about?
Before.
Oof.
Those in-person connections.
Comment vous appelez-vous? Ellen.
Hi.
No comparison to learning online, and now featured in a new documentary created by the couple called Rebel with a Clause.
Joven is more the Ann Landers of grammar with a grammar table.
Showing how one table created community, expanding Ellen's grammar lessons to all 50 states.
I shot 400 hours of footage in all 50 states and edited the entire thing over, it's taken 6 years. There was such an openness and connection of the people that came to the table, and the interactions were funny and heartfelt.
We're all connected by the words we use. I like to think that one of the places people can overlap is at the grammar table.
I had to teach my ex-husband the difference between well and good.
Discussing, maybe arguing about a grammar point they disagree about, like semicolon usage or whether a comma needs to go there or whatever it is, how a word should be pronounced. The stakes are not that high.
Your mom is going to be very disappointed, though. I need to tell her about this.
Okay, It's more a celebration of the words we use and how we use them. For me, it's about possibilities and not constraints.
I love grammar, but I find that it's less important because no one gives a shit anymore. Maybe I do.
As the daughter of a former English school teacher, we appreciate that. Finally tonight, this holiday season, some are looking for love in unlikely places and far away from dating apps. A recent survey found nearly 80% of users are burned out from the online dating scene. Our Maggie Rulli traveled to Europe's largest matchmaking festival for those looking for an alternative chance at love.
I'm going to Ireland for a 165-year-old Irish matchmaking festival for singles. I think I've lost my mind.
Tired of swiping through endless dating apps, 37-year-old Mary Timby began looking for love in an unlikely place.
Did you know that there's a small town in Ireland that hosts a singles week every year, and it's become so popular that they're able to subsidize their entire yearly budget just on profits?
what started out as an idea from an episode of the popular show Schitt's Creek turned into a 3,500-mile journey from Colorado to the small town of Linsey, all in the name of love. Nearly half of all Americans say dating apps are the most popular place to find a match. But a recent survey revealed 78% of all users say they've experienced dating app burnout. Mary was one of them. This area near Linsey could not feel further from the high stress and scrutiny of modern online dating. Every September, this 900-person town comes alive. Dancing kicks off with live bands starting at noon and keeps going well into the early hours of the morning. Founded in 1857, the Linsey Matchmaking Festival started as a way for rural Irish farmers to find a wife to work on the farm. Now, it's one of the world's largest matchmaking festivals.
Here's your intel on nightlife.
And it's gone viral on TikTok. A lot has changed in nearly 170 years, but the family behind it remains the same. Down the street lives Willie Daly, and he's just as quirky of a character as you might imagine. He's turned his home into a matchmaking museum and donkey farm.
So this is Brad Pitt. This little darker one is Harrison Ford.
His grandfather started the festival. Now he's a third-generation matchmaker.
I threw my leg over.
His house, full of mementos from this decades-old tradition, serves as his office. He's become a tourist attraction himself. These newlyweds from Michigan popped in during our interview just to meet him.
Hello?
And locals still call him, hoping to make the perfect match. So since we've been here, you've already gotten 2 phone calls. How often are people calling you looking for a match, looking for love?
It kind of goes on almost all the time.
Do you find that in all your years of doing this, are people lonelier now?
I think so. I think there's too much possibilities. You know, it's amazing how people are referring back to the matchmaking, the traditional matchmaking, where you introduce the person to the person. They can see the person, you know.
Willie is taking people back to a time before apps and online dating.
Oh, it's a lucky love book.
Lucky love book.
Lucky love.
And this is his family's original matchmaking book, more than 160 years old. And what's the myth, the legend around the Lucky Love book?
Well, so I'll tell you how it works now. So you put both hands on it, you close your eyes between 7 and 14 seconds. You don't count the seconds. You just think about being happy for the rest of your life. And you'll be in love and married inside of 6 Irish months.
6, really?
Yeah.
What's an Irish month?
I don't know. It could be 6 hours, it could be tonight. You touch it.
Yeah.
And you just, again, you think about your first meetings with your partner or your husband.
Now that I've got a little of the book's love magic on me, it's time to test my luck. Purely for research. For the record, I'm happily married. Love you, honey. We watched the town transform from day to night.
And we've been friends since we were 5 years old.
And meet Jodine, Shona, and Nicole, who are ready for whatever the night brings. The 3 lifelong friends are from the Irish Loop in Newfoundland, Canada. They say they can't remember life without one another. They're here celebrating Shona's 50th birthday.
We just heard it was a lot of fun, a lot of music, a lot of just good, traditional stuff. I've never been to Ireland before.
Plus, Shona and Nicole are both single, and the ladies say they thought an in-person dating event sounded, well, at least entertaining. So why is it important for you to meet people in person?
The authenticity of it, really. Because we're older and know better.
And really, these 3 are just here for the crack.
Just here for the crack.
Yes, here for the crack. Watching this whole scene unfold is Dylan.
So, and anyone can dance with anyone. And
He tends the bar here and says he sees a lot of people that come for more than just the crack. This matchmaking festival feels like the furthest thing from dating apps you can really get.
Yeah.
What's it like for you to see both of those worlds?
This is the OG dating app, like, you know, like this is the original, and yeah. And for the people inside, like I said, once again, there's still people matching. And then there's people who come here to match. But it's for the love of getting together and having a dance.
And then the more people we meet, the more we realize that the heart of this festival is companionship. How did you even find out about the Lustun Varna Dating Festival?
Oh, you know, TikTok. And then I found Mary.
Yes, that Mary from the beginning.
And she was on it and telling her story. And so I was like, oh, this is crazy. I was like, you know, I'm not having any luck here in Birmingham area. So who knows? Like, you're only going to live once, so you might as well. So let's go.
For Emily McFall, who flew here from Alabama, being here is about more than just matchmaking. 18 years ago, Emily's husband, Sergeant Tom McFall, died fighting in Iraq. At the time, they had 2 young kids. It feels like this trip is actually about more even than just dating and getting back out there. It has a deeper meaning.
Yeah, I think it's finding yourself. So my husband was killed in Iraq in 2007 in the Army. And I didn't date for 15 years because my priority was my children, and I took care of them.
Tom loved music almost as much as he loved Emily, but after he passed, she tells me the music stopped. It wasn't until the past couple of years that she says she was able to hear the beat again.
There's a whole world out there waiting on you, and if you don't get off the couch and get out of the house, then you're never going to find it. And take a chance, because who knows what could happen.
Emily tells us this trip was a win. She didn't meet her Irish husband, but said she had a fabulous time exploring the country. And the woman who inspired her to come in the first place, Mary Timby, says she actually did end up finding a little bit of romance.
This is all so surreal, but he and I decided that we really like each other.
He started the day with breakfast in bed. Now Mary's documenting her dating adventures with updates about her long-distance beau, an Irishman she says she met at the festival.
It's nice that you're safe for the rest of your life.
We discovered the soul of this festival really is about love. Whether it's rediscovering yourself and finding the courage to start again, exploring the beginning of something new, or just having some good crack with friends.
Crack, also known as a good time. Our thanks to Maggie Ruley for that. That is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us.